What's up, Moonbeam? What's up, Boss King? I'm technically here. Today's a shitty day, but I'm here. Dramatic rating's pretty good. I want to find, I think I'm going to start doing maybe on TikTok and then longer ones on, or YouTube Shorts or YouTube of the MAGA community I live in and just dramatically read MAGA comments. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes yesterday. I appreciate it. Yeah, today is today's my dad's birthday, but he passed away a few years ago. The church show, that was old school. God, what did we call it? The Church of Q or something, the MAGA church. We called it something. That was pretty fun.
Never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world.
That was old. That was old stuff, man. But it was fun.
We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through.
I used to have a much bigger audience, and I had a lot more time to dedicate to this, so I didn't have to be out like working a regular job and shit like Queezus. Yeah, it was something like that. The Church of Queezus, or the Bug Dude will probably remember when he shows up. He still talks about it every once in a while. Yeah, I had a tough time with it. Not that I didn't know my parents would die someday, but my mom died suddenly. My dad's always had bad health, or had bad health the last 10 years he was alive. My mom took care of him. My mom died suddenly. She had basically a bladder infection that led to a stroke that led to her stop breathing in a nursing home when she was supposed to come home in a couple days. And then 9 months later, my dad just died suddenly. It's crazy, on back to back. And I had become like my dad's caretaker after my mom passed away. I don't know, it was just tough. I don't like birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that. It sucks. Oh, shit. I wasn't ready to stop the music. Let me get Facebook going, guys. I'll be right with you. I have to click everything twice around here. Got to fix that. Bert, I was listening to Bort's show. Bort said that a shooting happened in Chicago. Then he said, no, not Chicago. It happened in Rhode Island. Then he said, oh, Rhode Island, that's in New York State. That caught me off guard. What do you mean Rhode Island is in... First he says that's in New York City. Then he says, no, New York State. What do you mean Rhode Island is in New York State? MAGA doesn't want to know what to do right now because the person seemed like they were a... like an old school transvestite. The shooter seems like they were an old school transvestite with mental health issues, but they were also like hardcore MAGA at one point, and then they switched over to the America First, Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene support. So they have literally no idea what to do with themselves. They're just being like, well, they were trans, so there's that. Like I guess a cross-dresser. I don't think, it doesn't seem like the guy considered himself like a trans, like I'm a woman that's in a man's body, more like a cross-dresser or what you would call a transvestite before, I guess. But anyways, their page is all reposts of James O'Keefe, Thomas Massey, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene is still up, by the way. Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is a video of Thomas Massey. This is Real Robert, Conspiracy, Detroit, Michigan, TCF Senator. Oh, this is a vote conspiracy. Marjorie Taylor Greene again. We will not apologize for being white. Culture of Marxism is a cancer on the nation, together with MEP Branko Grims from Slovenia. Alex Jones, Thomas Massey, a lot of Thomas Massey shit. So they were pretty Republican, even if they were this practicing cross-dresser thing, and that always throws MAGA for a loop.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is?
Yeah, I think transvestite's the right word. I think, hell, I'll fucking Google it. I don't know.
I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I'm Will Bird. Today kind of sucks, but I'm here. I'm doing all right. I've been better, but I'm here. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I got some donations while I wasn't live last night. Thank you for those. Gen X is one of them. I think the other person asked not to be named. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Throw it into the birthday fund. I actually probably throw it into the fund of going to Nashville to see my kid at the state tournament for mock trial or whatever. But thank you. Yeah. Like Chandler Bing's dad. That's exactly right. Hey, Bug Dude. You remember when we did Q Jesus? What did we call the church? Was it just the Church of Queezus or the First National Church? What do we call the church? The church show that we did where we did we pretended we were starting a QAnon religion. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I got some videos to go over. A bunch of different things. There was a shooting in Rhode Island. Rhode Island is not part of New York State, no matter what Bort tells you. It's not New York City, it's not New York State, and it's not Chicago. It is, it's actually its own state, the state of Rhode Island. So Google will tell you that, AI will tell you that, anybody will tell you that, but Bort, I think. I'm not sure where the fuck he got that from. It just caught me so off guard. He's like, there was a shooting that happened at this youth hockey game. It was in Chicago. No, New York City. No, Rhode Island, which is New York State. I'm like, what the fuck? You think he's went his whole life thinking that Rhode Island, we just had a house blow up here. Did you get it on camera? That Ring footage, worth a lot of money. It seems like the guy, here, I'll just read the news story. Since we've been talking about the shooting. Police ID Pawtucket shooter. Isn't Pawtucket and isn't that have something to do with their beer or something? On Family Guy. 2 killed, 3 hospitalized. Police have identified the Pawtucket shooter. Suspect is 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, Dorgan, who also goes by the name Roberta. Dorgan, the father of a North Providence high school senior, shot 4 family members and a family friend at a hockey game Monday, killing 2 and injuring 3 others before killing himself. Target 12 has confirmed. Wow. You're covering a shooting and you call your news station Target 12? The student's mother was killed at the rink while a sibling died at the hospital, according to several sources with direct knowledge. I want to know if this family friend was mom's new boyfriend. I guess nobody deserves this. It's horrible. Pawtucket Patriot. That's right. This is horrible. Act of violence. Careless. Guy need mental health help. I think his daughter was actually interviewed outside the police station, saying he had mental health issues, whatever. But the fact that it names a family friend, I guess, is what got me. 4 family members and a family friend. Especially that he obviously had mental health issues. You go there to kill your kids. Like, that's insane. There is video of it. I probably can't show it. But the guy kind of is walking down. He's walking down the bleachers. Then as soon as he goes behind somebody, like there's somebody blocking the view, I guess that's when he draws and starts shooting. Because next thing you know, the guy blocking the view is gone and he's shooting. Someone dives into him. He shoots that guy. It's kind of blurry and a little ways off, but that's the video footage. All the kids kind of hunker down in their the bench, I guess. And then they take off skating across the ice to like go out the other side of the rink. And then the crowd kind of empties. Actually, let's see. This is a press briefing on it. See what kind of ad it's got. Oh, there is an ad. Hold on. If I was covering, so they are WPRI 12. If I was covering a shooting, I would leave the target, even if that's what we go by. I would leave that off. I would just say WPRI has confirmed, not Target 12 News. Maybe that's just me. Oh, that's definitely a Rhode Island guy. I'll get you some audio. Hold on.
Bringing together communities from across the state. Good evening, everybody. What happened here earlier today was a terrible tragedy and an act of senseless violence that we're all dealing with and we see all too often throughout our country. Family and friends were gathered today at a hockey game at Lynch Arena to celebrate the senior night, bringing together communities from across the state. Instead, an act of senseless violence has taken the lives of 2 innocent victims, with the suspect taking his own life. 3 other victims are now in the hospital fighting for their lives. Our prayers go out to the victims, to the families, and everyone impacted by this devastating incident. I understand the media and our community want answers about what happened, and the Pawtucket Police Department, in coordination with the Attorney General's Office and other law enforcement agencies, are in the middle of an active investigation. They've already interviewed more than 100 witnesses and are reviewing multiple videos of the shooting. We are all committed to transparency, and we'll share more details as we get them confirmed. You'll hear from the chief in a couple of minutes. I have a couple of updates from earlier today, and that update will be the last that we have for this evening, and hopefully we'll be able to update you some more. This here is also about working with the victims and working with the state. We've talked to the governor's office, the attorney general's office, and working collectively with the state. They have set up a 211, the number to provide counseling and referral services. Anyone impacted in today's incident should call 211. They'll have trained professionals are available to address both physical and emotional needs, and recognizing that healing takes many forms. Additionally, we will be opening tomorrow the Blackstone Valley Visitor Center located at 175 Main Street at 12 o'clock to 7 tomorrow, and then
I even know how to plug an HDMI cable in, believe it or not.
for individuals who were present during the shooting and their families for grief counseling. Pawtucket is a resilient community, but tonight we are sitting in mourning. We encourage everyone,
Pawtucket? Am I saying it wrong?
educated,
Pawtucket?
to lean on one another for support when the situation unfolds. Together, we need to embrace resiliency while we're fostering the environment of compassion prevails overall. We will do our best to keep the public and the media informed as the investigation unfolds. Finally, and I'll know the chief will also go on this, if anyone has any information relevant to today's shooting, we've seen all these videos, please call the Pawtucket Police Department who are handling the investigation.
Did I imagine that Scott Adams, the guy who invented Dilbert, died? Why is his Twitter account still posting subscribers only content?
The number is 401-727-9100. I'd like to turn it over for the chief for a minute.
Good evening. So today, Pawtucket Police received a call for an active shooter about 2:30 p.m. Police were on scene within a minute and a half of that call.
God, their accent sounds so thick.
It appears that a lone individual, the suspect, entered the arena to watch the hockey game of a family member, and unfortunately during that time, a shooting occurred. We have confirmed that the suspect is now deceased. Also, there are 2 victims that have also been confirmed deceased, and then we have 3 victims that are still at the hospital in critical condition. We have worked tirelessly with local police departments here in the state, also our federal partners, and our state partners with the Attorney General's office also. We have given you the information that I had earlier today. I can tell you that we have interviewed people that were in the stadium, watching the game, participating in the game. We probably had about 100 people within the station that we talked to. We can also tell you that a Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event earlier today. So at that time, like I said, we have more information as the time goes on. We'll be able to share that with you. I did share with you earlier today the information we had at that point. The only thing we have to add again is that we have interviewed many people that were there. We're also accepting videos it was live streamed videos from parents that were videoing their kids while they were playing the game. So we ask you to obviously take those videos, forward them to the detectives. It's Detective Webb, like the mayor said, 401-727-9100, extension 1711. We also have 211 set up for any kind of emotional support that people may need within the city. Again, we're here to assist, so anything that we can do to kind of assist the community out there. And again, any information that you have that you think may be relevant, we ask that you share it with us, because again, we're not sure exactly what videos were out there and who was videotaping at the time, but that's the information that we have at this point.
Chief, can you describe how this Good Samaritan stopped this person?
What I can say is that he interjected and he attempted to subdue him.
Did he tackle him, or?
So that is all part of, like I said, during the investigation, but I can't tell you that a Good Samaritan
We see on the video someone in a yellow shirt dives at him, but it looks like that guy gets shot.
did step in.
And did the shooter have a son on the hockey team?
So again, like I said earlier today, I can identify that there was one lone suspect, that this was a targeted event. It looked like it was a family dispute, and there was one individual that was a family friend. But as for identifying the victims at this time, it's too early in the investigation to identify people, because obviously we want to make sure that their families are well aware of what's going on before we put it out to the public.
Did the suspect have ammunition to
Again, what I can tell you is that the suspect did have a firearm. As to how many firearms he had, that's all part of the investigation, and that information will be released later.
Which firearms were retrieved after the scene from that scene?
We did retrieve firearms on the scene.
Did any type of a restraining order, any type of threats that this suspect may have made against any members?
So that has not come to our attention during the initial.
They try to sound like this, you think?
Again, it's very early on. It just happened earlier today, so we are investigating that. We're looking at all avenues. If there was any motivation, if there was any type of incident leading up to that, we don't have any of that information at this time that we know of. So as that develops, obviously.
I do think that family friend may have been new boyfriend, and maybe they had been split for a while.
We will look into that and fully investigate that.
Family friend who was killed or injured?
Again, we're not going to release the victims at this point because, the privacy of the victims and their families, but that information will come out later.
Initially, the thought was it was all members of the same family. Is there now a family friend?
Again, this is his Twitter account, and he was on it today or yesterday.
You guys had any prior interactions with them?
Pawtucket has not had prior interactions.
Was there any security happening? Like metal detectors?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, a bunch of Thomas Massey stuff, a bunch of real Donald Trump shit.
Transgender person, the exact something he has.
Like, yeah, he was dressed like a woman, but
Identified.
I don't think you're pinning this on the
First
left.
name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses the last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation. As to their status, that really doesn't have anything to do with the investigation.
Do you know the age? Yeah, what's the age of the suspect?
1969 is one.
Do you know if the gun was legally purchased?
At this time, it's still part of the investigation, so we will be investigating the firearms, where they come from, where they were purchased, and whether or not they had a permit to carry.
Was the van that was towed away from the scene the white van? Did that belong to the suspect?
Anything that was towed from the scene is obviously, we believe that it might be involved in some way. So as part of the investigation, we are taking all precautions to make sure that we investigate all evidence that we may feel that was part of the scene today.
Mayor, have you been in touch with Governor McKee? Is there a reason there's time?
Yes, no, we've been in touch. He's been allowing and he's been supporting, as well as the Attorney General and many others. We'll be briefing each other tomorrow with everyone and probably doing a joint statement at some point. But yes, the state has been very active and involved, as well as many of the other maybe.
Oh, he fell into this trap. So he reposted this, which was reposted by a bunch of MAGA accounts back in early February. It said, how many dads would be willing to do the same thing for their kids? I pray he knows freedom again. It says, this is John Osmond. He lost his daughter to sex trafficking. She was sold for $1,000 in Seattle, Washington. Like any father would, John took matters into his own hands. He researched, investigated, and uncovered the truth behind her abduction. He rescued her himself. The person who sold her was a 19-year-old boyfriend. In November of 2020, John confronted him, abducted him, and ultimately killed him. Authorities later found the boyfriend's body on October 2021, abandoned in the trunk of a car. Now John sits in jail, but he knows his daughter is safe and growing up. After living 60 years of his life, I believe he rests easy. Live your life fully and do everything in your power to give your children the same chance, no matter the sacrifice. I'll be sending John some commissary money, hoping he one day experiences freedom alongside his daughter. But they didn't even look into this story. So there was zero evidence that she was sex trafficked. She just had a boyfriend she was living with. And the judge who sentenced this guy called the claims baseless about sex trafficking. In fact, this guy was just a habitual meth user and was under some type of meth-induced psychosis at the time that he researched all this, found the boyfriend, killed him, claimed there was sex trafficking, and found cameras in his car and shit. Like, the whole story is fucked up. But MAGA got caught sharing it around early February.
Mayors who are in these other communities. So we've been having those conversations, and we're sharing as much information as we can, and then we're all going to collectively get together.
I'm actually able to answer this question as far as the mutual aid that was tapped. There was a few different jurisdictions that were Ryan from as well as first responders. You can see just the team effort that it kind of took to process the scene and make sure victims are treated as such.
So when the call initially came in, obviously we dispatched the police department, which I said was there within a minute and a half of the actual active shooter. And the fire department, once it was safe for them to come in, they administered aid, also with our police officers inside administered aid. I can tell you that most of the departments that responded for mutual aid were more administrative aid. They helped us secure the scene. They helped us on the outpost. And again, there were so many departments that came to our aid. It was phenomenal to see all the assistance that we had, whether it be our local partners, our state partners, and our federal partners. As soon as they heard a call for service, they all came. So again, tomorrow we'll be touching base with all of them, but most of them were on administrative aid outside of the scene.
Which are going to be closing so far?
So that will all depend on the investigation, but at this point it is closed.
Can you detail any more time
Have you guys seen... We'll finish this first.
for a while and then started shooting, do you believe, or did you come in?
So that's all part of the investigation. Obviously, we're going to develop a timeline, but at this point, it's too early on to be able to release that to the public. But we are developing a timeline of presence and how long he had been
Do
there
you
for.
believe he had multiple weapons? Because
What I said was all part of the investigation, and then we'll determine that later. But at this point, we're not going to give up how many weapons the person
still believe he
had.
died from a self-inflicted gunshot?
Correct.
What are the next 24 hours look like for the department?
So really, like I said, we're still at the initial stages of the investigation. So after we have spoken to many, many victims and witnesses today,
It's really sad that his wife died. It's incredibly sad that one of his kids was killed. Like,
all that
fuck
information.
out of here.
We're going to, the detectives will meet together.
That's awful.
Debriefing. They'll compare all the information. We'll reach out to family. We'll try to establish a timeline like we spoke about. Whether or not there's any motive, we'll try to talk to different people. So it's going to be a very busy next 24, 48 hours trying to gather the story, right? We want to make sure that the information that we're given is factual and it's accurate and that we're not going off of hearsay or things that are on social media. Unfortunately, because social media is so popular, things get out there that maybe necessarily aren't true. So we're trying to quell those kind of rumors and make sure that all the information that we're putting out there is factual.
Victims were hospitalized in critical condition. Have been able to speak with them?
So the victims are at the hospital. We have detective station there, but as of right now, we don't have statements from them.
JC, was there a training for active shooter actually going on in the city which helped with the response?
So we did have an initial training that was separate and apart from this, a normal training within the city for our police department.
Oh, God. Oh, God. The false flag idiots. Anytime there's a shooter training and there happens to be a shooting the same day, they fucking come unglued.
Helped with the response. I don't know. Yeah.
We had several members that were here on training on days off. So we had additional members, if that's right, we had additional members of the police department that were around. So the response was immediate. Obviously, it's right next to the police station. Like I said, we were there within a minute and a half.
Were any of the players related to two people who died?
So again, I don't want to get into the family ties because again, they do have an expectation of privacy and a right of privacy, and we like to, be able to honor that. It's a tragic event for everybody that was there today, but especially a family. There were so many family members there that were part of this incident. So again, we respect their privacy and we're trying to work with them.
Have the police
Thank you.
retrieved any type of either diary or journal or video or any type of confession that the shooter made left?
It's too early in the investigation. So thank you very much. I'll give back to you, Nathan.
No, but thank you. Again, our hearts go out to the families. This is about trying to grieve as the police do their investigation, and we will release as much information as soon as we have it. So thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. So that's what happened. Sounds like the wife and one son has died, or the mother and one son has died. That's awful. Have you guys heard about Jerky Gates? I hate that I have to cover Jerky Gates. There's a channel that I watch sometimes called Flesh Simulator. And this is the first place I saw this shit. You guys know that people go on jerky diets, right? And some people are like jerky heads, like they fucking love jerky. Epstein seems like a man that demanded perfection from people, including like his sodas had to be stocked and this had to be done and this blah, blah, blah. Everything had to be done right. So there's apparently at one time he was on a big jerky kick, whether it's a jerky diet or he ate quite a bit of jerky. It sounds like a jerky diet because at times there's no jerky around and he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to eat? Like what? I only eat jerky. What am I supposed to eat? So of course, MAGA being MAGA have latched onto this and they think that jerky is code name for human flesh. Why? Because he ate a lot of it, and he was mad when it wasn't around.
I'm going to lay something on you massive right now. This can bring down the deep state even faster.
That's Alex Jones.
From Kentucky, seems like a really good guy. And he's been demanding all the files be released. So let's lay some mess. That's great. But MTG over the weekend said that when he goes in to the DOJ to look at the unredacted files, as they're already doing, he needs to search everything that says beef jerky, or pizza, because that's all the pedophilia. It's all right there. Cannibalism, blood, all of it. Goes back to Peter Nygaard, all of it. I've covered it for decades. I've been totally vindicated. I'm not saying Massey's bad, but I'm not hearing the
Alex Jones has been totally vindicated.
Democrats or the Republicans that are exposing this, bringing up the proof. Says like Howard Lutnick lived next door. Maybe he's guilty. I don't know, but that's nothing. Okay, I want this to come out. You understand? So if the public goes and searches jerky, beef jerky, pizza, or buy baby, I mean, you see it all. It's there. It's unbelievable. But there's no discussion about that.
I'll show you in the files.
Cover up that's definitely going on.
If you're on my Discord, I did find a DOJ file today while I was just going through I was just changing the numbers for different files, typing in numbers. I found one that had nudity in it. I don't think it's a victim. I don't think it's a minor. And even if it wasn't a victim, they should have blurred out her chest. Like you shouldn't be able to see through a lace shirt someone's fucking nipples.
And it was on the Democrats. It's bipartisan. But now the Democrats went all out. Great. So Massey, release the jerky files. This is Jerkygate, Pizzagate, whatever you want to call it. We call it Jerkygate because they've already pre-programmed the pizza's not real because they knew it was. They attacked me when I was first exposing 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. So this is massive. And I'm telling you, if we have a limited hangout where the Democrats who are already doing it, or Massey or others, don't go into stuff. It's already there, the proof. Todd Lance last week, oh no, there's no evidence of any men abusing anybody. We've done something about it. Bullshit. So this information is crazier than I even thought it would be. It is bombshell, and we have the globalist ass. The intelligence agencies are using all this. So
got their asses.
The Jerkygate files. Massey, it's up to you. You can go in and read it. Go search it. Read it in Congress. Release it on your website. The ball's in your court now. You're in the position Trump's been in, and the DOJ covering up. Don't cover it up. I'm saying you are, but the clock's ticking now. Release the Jerkygate files now, Massey.
All right, so this is the first place I saw. This is 8 days ago. It says, was Epstein eating people?
Intending to make another Epstein video, certainly not as quickly as this. However, as I think most of us can agree, the files have been pretty bad. They've kind of blown everyone's hair back, but oh boy, I found something that is significantly more alarming. So, without any further ado, I guess we're going to start looking.
He goes over, I think, every, or at least the worst Jerkygate emails.
What are these? These are, I believe, 61 of the 380 emails that I found. What was I searching? Well, I got a tip to look for the word jerky. Let's take a look at these. To Jeffrey.
It does sound like he's pretty pissed off about something as simple as beef jerky or whatever. But if that's all he was consuming at the time, and he seems like the type of guy that would jump your ass if you didn't do your fucking job, right? And your job was to have jerky stocked because that's all he's eating.
Epstein from blank. May 4th, 2013. At almost 1 in the morning. Subject, jerky. Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it! Exclamation point. Jerky class, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant, and sends a warm hello. He is working at a restaurant called Cannibal, and cooks, wait for it, beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. tomorrow if this is okay with...
So they met someone. So obviously Epstein's already into jerky and steak, I guess. Maybe he's on like a weird carnivore diet. But they met someone that specifically is like really cooks jerky and steak, like for a prominent restaurant. And they're like, oh, well, he's going to bring you some jerky recipe and show you how to make it.
With you. That's not a great foot to start off on. Like, this next one is from Karina Shuliak to Francis, presumably Francis Sturvey, who is a name that we will become quite acquainted with. Subject, beef jerky. Hi, blank. JE is asking to bring him more beef jerky on Friday. Are you also flying on Friday? If not, I would like to collect it from you and take it with me on the plane. Please let me know. Thanks, Karina. And then from the aforementioned Francis, I'm flying on Friday. I will bring jerky. Okay, that's a little weird, but let's continue. From Francis Derby to blank. Subject, jerky. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. JE said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. Dad said
He said he's going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. I guess they just can't comprehend that the guy might be eating specifically only jerky as part of a diet or a trend or whatever.
he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer for his next trip. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Any other questions, please let me know. Thank you, Francis. So this is a different reply from blank to Francis. Hi, Francis. JE has asked me to email you and ask whether you would be able to teach me to make the beef jerky. Thank you, blank. Then from Francis Derby, blank, I will come to teach a jerky class, and we can also cover chocolate cream pie if you can agree to pay me through this pay period. So I would then receive my last full paycheck on the 29th of this month. Those are two foods that typically don't go together. A jerky.
Well, they don't have to go together if she's just teaching you how to make things that Jeffrey Epstein has said he liked before.
Class, okay. Here we go. From blank to blank, blank, another blank, Karina Shuliak, blank, subject, recipe, 2 pounds of jerky. 1/3 organic tamari soy sauce, sauce spelled with 2 S's. 3 tablespoons sweet soy sauce,
Sounds like a jerky recipe, to be honest with you.
mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons ginger, 2 tablespoons lemongrass, fresh cut, and 2 pounds of jerky. Now, the reply. This is all I have, unfortunately. I don't know what kind of meat he was using, but Steve should know if you are not sure either. Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better. To Jeffrey Epstein from blank. Thursday, November 7th, 2013.
Keycap Madness is a thick, syrupy, and intensely flavored Indonesian sweet soy sauce.
Subject, jerky. Should blank be making more jerky? To Jeffrey Epstein vacation from blank. Subject, jerky, question mark, question mark. How is your jerky situation? Should I bring any more? From blank to Jeffrey Epstein. July 29th, 2013. No excuse for what I clearly fucked up with the shirts, but just a list of things I deal with. Dinners, blank. Flights and other transport for blank. Jean-Luc's apartment. New ACs in apartments. Why?
So this is where I get the feeling that Epstein expects everything to be perfect. Like he's paying a lot of money. He's got people assigned to these tasks. Like he wants everything done right. And when you don't, like you know, he's going to be fucking pissed. So when we get an email being like, this is all I fucking eat. What you can't take care of this simple task. Then we get someone apologizing, saying, no excuses for it. I clearly fucked up with the shirts, but here's a list of things that I deal with. So someone trying to argue back because obviously they got in trouble.
Wi-Fi at your house, helping blank move, liaising with FedEx and Daphne every day regarding shipping of sculptures. I have email proof, and we are in the process. Carpet for plane, fabrics for island, training blank's sister at apartments, orders for all apartments and sorting between them, linens and towels, guest apartment welcome letters, guest apartment food when requested, setting up trade accounts for fabric stores, sourcing vendors to make up outside island cushions, letting blank in and out of the house at all hours to make jerky, sourcing furniture for blank bedroom. To Steve Hansen from Jeffrey Epstein. Hope you are feeling better. Did we analyze the jerky? Okay, October 19th, 2012. I am concerned that after being off and then being back since Monday, that somehow I have no jerky again. I am very, very annoyed. From Jeffrey Epstein. The person that he sent this to replies, my apologies for not having jerky ready to mail on Thursday, sir. Truth of the matter, blank, 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 blank. Big long reaction. I see now that was a bad move. I reached out to blank on Tuesday about the when was the next day so I can plan to cook for you, and they were unsure. It's again my fault for not communicating blank, someone, blank, 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 blank. I am, however, back in full swing of things as of yesterday and can send jerky out today if you'd like. Also not sure about how your diet is going, but if there are any requests for this coming week, please.
Again, they even say like, I don't know how your diet's going, but if you got requests.
No, I'll get started on them now. Stews, pies, steaks. Very sorry about not communicating. Blank. Jeffrey replies, too late, but I hope you are better. Blank replies to Jeffrey, very sorry it's too late. I am better, thank you. I will make sure I communicate next time. I just thought because you weren't due back, I had a few days to rest. Again, it was really dumb of me to not say anything to anyone. Won't happen again, I will tell. Blank. Jeffrey Epstein writes, I am not sure how this is possible. I only eat one thing, there is none here. Sue told you about it, even though you should have inquired yourself. This is beyond silly. Why wasn't?
I only eat one thing. So it seems like the vast makeup of his diet is jerky.
This is like human meat. This is truly the banality of evil. To Jeffrey Epstein, CC, name, from blank.
I don't think jerky is cocaine. They have actual recipes. They're talking about having chefs make it. They're going through the recipe and what's in it, and who makes it, and who makes the best, and what meat to use, and how to do this. And it's the only thing he fucking eats. And they got the guy that cooks steak coming in to make some jerky from a restaurant where he works.
Would you like me to send anything down to you tomorrow? So far, I'm sending the following with.
I'll agree. It's weird. Would I jump to they're eating humans? Absolutely not.
Fresh muffins, blank, will bake today. Outdoor fabrics from Jared at Highland. The outdoor fabrics that you like from my previous selection. Blank, please liaise with me regarding jerky. Okay, this is from someone named Jenny Enterprise, founder and chairman at blank. Subject, wow. Thank you so much. Super cool. IT guys setting up service right now. We are ridiculously excited. And beef jerky delicious. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you.
So he even sent some beef jerky to somebody.
Thanksgiving XOXOXOXOXO. From blank to blank. Subject, Leon Black's office address. Blank, Jojo is here and will walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Please, you just go on your own to Leon's office. Melanie is Leon's assistant. Blank, I will alert Melanie you're coming to see Jeffrey. Reply back, please. From blank to Jeffrey Epstein. Subject, hi. Thank you. I tried phoning, but it seems you were sleeping on the couch the whole day. Thank you so much. I also added more to the jerky in ginger lemongrass. We'll know more tomorrow night. Oh, and the next date seems really great.
I also added more to the jerky in the ginger lemongrass. That's the recipe they were talking about earlier.
Is there anything Karina needs to bring to Little St. James with her tomorrow? J.E. told me to ask you. I know Francis is sending her with more jerky. Anything else? From blank to blank.
Yeah, but would you be like, okay, well, here's the recipe for how we make Pop-Tarts. You take sugar and puff pastry and you roll it out and then you use your filling and then you seal it with a fork. Like, obviously, yeah, there's code words for things, but you don't need a recipe for the code word.
Blank to Jeffrey Epstein vacation from blank. Subject, thanks again. Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful, above all.
I think he was just like have you ever ran into a weirdo? Have you ever ran into a weird person that's all about their new fad diet? And they want to give you some and they want you to try it. And they're like, oh, it's so crazy how much, here's some, like it's something fucking weird. Like all I do is drink apple cider vinegar with a fucking leaf in it, a maple leaf. And they're like, that's what it seems like me. He's even pushing on other people. Like, the jerky was great or whatever.
For your friendship. Then from Francis Derby, I have jerky ready to mail today.
Also, thanks for the $1,100 computer.
Like, said you'd be home tomorrow. Karina Shuliak to Francis Derby, just confirming I received jerky. Smiley face, thank you so much. From blank to Jeffrey Epstein. Subject, jerky will be with me when I get to LSJ. At Little St. James. I can come tomorrow and take care.
And it seems like, obviously, he can't just, people are like, well, why so much? He could just go to the gas station and get jerky. Well, not if it's first of all, the jerky he likes. And second, if he's on the island has to be stocked with whatever he wants. There was even a thing in there about one of his assistants is like, I've got to do every guest that comes and stays. I have to get what food they like. Like I have to buy all their groceries that if they're going to be staying here for a week. They tell me what they eat. I get a week's worth of groceries. You know what I mean?
Care of white tuna if you'd like. I'm due back in New York City by this evening. I really think he's eating people.
I really think he's eating people. I don't know. I think it's just about jerky, to be honest with you. There was even recipes in there for it. Like, it seems like it'd be a lot weirder if they were, like, eating people. If they're like, hey, I just got the meat for the jerky. Don't ask where it came from. Or something weird, right? I don't know. It's not that big a deal to me, but MAGA's freaking out about it. Alex Jones is on top of it. It's now being called Jerky Gates. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? We have ICE barging into McDonald's and attacking people.
Video shows the moment an interaction between a man and the staff at a La Jolla McDonald's turned violent.
He grabbed me from the back.
Oh, wait, he's not ICE and just pretending to be ICE so he can do whatever the fuck he wants? I thought they said that never would happen. There's no way. No one would ever do that.
Got my neck like really hard. So when that happened, all my coworkers jumped in him and he let go. But after that, he just punched me on the side.
The San Diego Police Department said around noon on Thursday, a man asked for the restaurant's manager, then wrapped his arm around his neck, all under the claim that he was an ICE agent.
Why do you think your 911 phone calls are working? Why do you think I'm willing to take 2 punches in the face with some illegal immigrant while I make an arrest for immigration and customs enforcement?
Police arrested 40-year-old Joshua Cobb for impersonating a police officer and battery. Video shows the...
I'm sure the guy just has mental health issues, but still, this is why we don't have ICE agents just running around without badges, without some type of identification, without... What if the guy would have left?
But after that, he just punched me on the side.
Oh, shit. I didn't know where that was coming from. I got it now. I don't know. Seems pretty fucking wild, but whatever. Destiny got swatted. I don't know when this happened. I got it from their clip channel. But Destiny got swatted. Check this shit out.
Unfortunately, we're in like very uncharted territory with the current hold on one second. With the current administration. Hold on.
Had toward big businesses. To some people, maybe this just seems like a... Yeah, but that's not a symptom of a well-functioning market. In a good market, you move to somebody who's less extractive. That's why there are certain things like housing and healthcare that maybe shouldn't be purely market-driven. And so I think this is all like... Where maybe the economy is benefiting, or like the biggest companies in the economy, like is there some portion of the finance industry that's like, these companies will be fine because like...
So there's websites that are just dedicated to doxing people, and Destiny's address is not a secret. You would have to. It's not like you're going to stumble upon it by accident. You'd have to go out of your way to find it. But it does exist online.
Like they have made it clear that they will bend the knee, and the Trump will reward them for that.
I mean, I think some of them are struggling. So the Trump administration took a large percentage of Intel stock.
I do like his gun display back here. That's pretty cool. I'm sure they didn't put the cops at ease, but
on the news.
I'm like anchored to it right now, and so every time like something comes along, I'm like, does this explain my question? But the question is just like, why is the economy still?
He plays it off pretty well. So here's how he comes back.
But the question is just like, why is the
Sorry,
economy
I missed a
still?
little bit of this. Sometimes I have a few friends that come over and they like to hang out a little bit, so I don't know what I missed here. Sorry. Unfortunately,
I have friends come over and they hang out for a little bit, so that was pretty fucking wild. He also did really well putting this dumb bitch in her place.
You understand that, like, we can't manufacture everything in the United States, right?
We can't manufacture everything, but we were manufacturing much more in 1971.
Wait, first of all, no, wait. Why would we want to manufacture base level material when we can put together more sophisticated products?
I think it's really good.
Why are we worried about extruding aluminum when we can build fucking rockets, right? Why are we worried about, fucking mining iron ore when we're building fucking machinery and cranes and cars and blah blah blah?
For an economy,
because the value goes up the more finished the product is, right?
Have men doing jobs that don't require a college degree making $88,000 a year on average. Like, that's just a very good thing, because we want more people to be middle class, and so it turns out those jobs are middle class jobs.
But then all of those people are also, first of all, not so you're talking about one small sector of the economy that they employed, right? To whoever is working in steel manufacturing, that's going to make every single thing more expensive that has these products in them.
It actually didn't do that. It actually did not have that impact because the price of steel then leveled off. So it did.
So this is where he gets her right here. Then why did we ever import it? If it isn't cheaper being made somewhere, why did we ever import it? You think companies are paying more or the same to lay off people, close down factories, import raw materials or whatever they're importing? Of course not. We're paying less. That's why companies do it. And that price is less when you go to buy it.
If it doesn't make then why were we importing it if it wasn't cheaper?
Well, here's the thing about tariffs that people don't realize is, like, it's actually very very expensive to get something from one place to another.
Wait, then why did people import it? Why didn't we just make it in the U.S.?
The reason we're doing tariffs is to make it more expensive, to make it more feasible to do here or equal or close to, which also makes prices go up. Either you're paying the tariffs or you're paying a similar amounts to manufacture here, but either way, that's a higher price.
Originally,
why did they ship the jobs overseas to China in the first place?
Yes.
The labor in China is much cheaper.
Yeah. So produce it over there. So if we tariff that and produce it here, it's going to be more expensive.
Well, no, because we don't have to transport it here. There's a lot of recovered costs.
Then why did we ever export it to China?
Even if the most expensive portion of it is the shipping, you don't think companies have factored that in? Let's say the product costs 1/10 of the final cost and the shipping costs 9/10 of the cost. You don't think they factored that in when they shut down their factory and opened up a factory in fucking China? They're like, oh shit, we're losing money out the ass. Who knew it was expensive to ship stuff?
Really would have to ask the
Then why did we ever export it to China?
You really would have to ask the manufacturers why they did that.
You understand that, like, we can't manufacture every.
If it was cheaper to do it here, once you remove shipping prices, companies would be doing it here. They didn't do it for the health or their environment or this, that, and the other. They did it to save money. and in turn make more money. Or make a product that can actually be sold in the market. If you're talking about like tech, like iPhones and shit, they're making a product that can actually be sold in our market because they bring that all to the U.S., everything across the board to make an iPhone in the U.S. And we're talking about $1,000 phone going to a $5,000 phone. How many people can afford it then? I'm sure people would still try to buy it and fucking not pay rent and shit like Bort, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're either making it cheaper so they can make more money, or we're making it cheap enough to where it can be sold in the market, because there's a limit, there's a ceiling eventually where people are like, I can go without that. Or at least, maybe I can't go without it, but instead of buying a new one every 2 years, I'm going to buy a new one every fucking 10 years. And I'm going to have the old one repaired a lot more. You see this with the auto industry. Like, when prices skyrocket for the auto industry, people decide to hang on to their old cars longer. And the boost in the economy actually comes to repair shops. Repair shops do a lot better when people are holding on to older cars because they got to go in for more maintenance.
Everything in the United States.
I'll play it without pausing it this time.
We can't manufacture everything, but we were manufacturing much more in 1971.
First of all, wait. Why would we want to manufacture base level material when we can put together more sophisticated products?
I think it's really good for an economy to have men doing jobs that don't require a college degree making $88,000 a year on average. Like, that's just a very good thing. Because we
then
want
in that
more
case,
people to be middle class. And so it turns out those jobs are middle class.
I think instead, I know I said I wouldn't pause it. I think instead of, this is the last time I pause it. Instead of trying to make jobs that don't require a college degree, we should incentivize companies to hire people who have a good work ethic, who show up on time, who do this, who maybe used to work more of these manual style jobs. And while they're working, incentivize these companies to send those people to school as well, whether they get a degree or not, put them in some type of certificate program to where, yeah, they start out, they kind of suck, but they're hard workers. They show up, you know, they're dedicated. They want this job. It pays well. And if they, over the next 2 years, they'll get the certificate and know everything that we want them to know to be trained to do this job the way we want it done without the college degree.
But then all of those people are also, first of all, not, so you're talking about one small sector of the economy that employed, right? To whoever is working in steel manufacturing, that's going to make every single thing more expensive that has these products in them.
I just told you it actually didn't do that. It actually did not have that impact because the price of steel then leveled off. So it did go up.
If it doesn't make, then why were we importing it if it wasn't cheaper?
Well, here's the thing about tech that people don't realize is like when you, it's actually very important to, very expensive to get something from one place to another.
Wait, then why did people import it? Why didn't we just make it in the U.S. originally?
If you're going to save so much money.
Why did they ship the jobs overseas to China in the first place?
Yes.
The labor in China is much cheaper.
Yeah, so it was cheaper to produce it over there. So if we tariff that and produce it here, it's going to be more expensive.
Well, no, because we don't have to transport it here. There's a lot of recovered costs.
Then why did we ever export it to China?
You really would have to ask the manufacturers why they did that.
You understand that, like, we...
Imagine being the guy in the boardroom with the CEO of Ford and pitching him the idea to make cars in Mexico because you can save 30% production costs. And then everybody like jumps up and cheers and they throw all their fucking profit and loss statements in the air and they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Then as everybody starts calming down and they're finishing all their high fives, someone's like, oh, but then the cars would be in Mexico. And they're like, back to the drawing board, boys. No one planned on getting it here. I think if I could change one thing, I know this sounds really weird because I don't know that anybody does this. I think our post-secondary education system is too disconnected from the job market. Right now, you're like, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to a vocational school. I'm going to spend all this money up front. Hopefully, I'm going to like it. I'm going to take all these classes. I'm going to do all this. And then hopefully at the end, somebody gives me a job. And then we end up with a bunch of people who went into fields or got degrees, and now they're in a different field that doesn't even have anything to do with their degree because they couldn't find a job or the jobs weren't hiring at the time. I think it should be more, I think a lot of people would benefit. I'm not saying across the board we should change everything, but a lot more people would benefit if you could go to a company and that company is incentivized through government and funding or whatever, right? Government pressure, laws, regulations, whatever you have to do, that you go to a company that you're interested in working for, and they provide the means to get you trained even if you don't end up with a bachelor's degree, because companies are going to argue like, oh, they're just using this for the degree and then they leave. And that's why like hospitals a lot of times will have like nursing programs, but you got to sign to work for them for so long. Even if it doesn't end up with a degree, maybe a certificate in the way that you're working here and be more incentivized to stay at that company so they can get their investment back. But I think they're too separated, right? Maybe that's just me, but you go to college, you think you're studying for this, you think you have this image of what your job's going to be when you get out, then you can't get that job doesn't exist anymore. They're actually looking for somebody with more fucking experience in the job and not straight out of school. Like, it seems like we miss each other a lot when people are like, I want to do this for a living. Well, here's the path through college to get to it, and they never end up doing that. So I think we should be more focused on finding good people who want to work, who show up, who are dedicated. Maybe even aptitude tests when you go to fucking get a job. Would this be a good fit for you? And if we invest money in you, do we think you're going to pass this fucking training? Right? Even if you have to study your ass off, you have a chance of passing it. And then the company is heavily incentivized and or required to provide you the opportunity. Maybe you got to go to night school. Maybe you work 5 days a week and 2 nights a week you got to go to fucking school. But at least those two things are tied together to where you're getting the training for the job you're at that you want a position for, right? But I'm from construction, so that's the way kind of all construction is, right? You hire in as a helper and then an apprentice, and then you do your thing, right, until you're a full hand. I think a lot of companies would probably benefit from that. I see companies complaining all the time that there's a fucking lack of these people and it's a skill issue and we don't have these people. We don't have engineers and we don't have people that know how to program this way and we don't have people that know how to do it this way. But we can go to India and get them. Fuck India. Why don't we just make people fit the mold that you need, right? And make it more expensive, not impossible. Put more hurdles in front of bringing somebody from India versus bringing an American into your company and showing them the way to do it, right? Even if they have to take their own time. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. What other Destiny clips are going
Just
on?
on a personal note, man, I really feel like you've lost your humanity.
I know, and that's great.
Honestly.
And I wish that, and maybe one day, I don't know, maybe if you guys grow up a little bit, maybe you'll know this, saying the most disgusting, horrible that you
I never trust. So the anti-college thing comes from the top, right? It comes from the Fox News pundits. It comes from the Trump administration. It comes from the top of right-wing sphere, right? The top of MAGA. Show me one of those motherfuckers who their kids don't go to college, right? You'll have people that are literally a fucking lawyer on Fox News talking about how college is too woke and nobody should send their kids to school. Didn't you go to school for like 8 goddamn years? Making a shit ton of fucking money? And being like, I wouldn't do it. How about your kids? What schools are they getting into? What Ivy League school did you open up a door for them? Or the fact that Hollywood we're literally paying people to lie and be put on weird teams and this and that and the other to get into these Ivy League schools. Like, it's do what I say, not what I do kind of deal, right?
I don't know, maybe if you guys grow up a little bit, maybe you'll know this. Saying the most disgusting, horrible that you can in a polite tone of voice is one of the most horrible things that you can do as a human being. And the idea that just because you calmly and politely suggest that a guy that tried to overthrow the republic ought to be president, and that's a respectable opinion because you say it with a low voice, is beyond redemption to me. It's disgusting.
Just on a personal...
Yeah, it's so in these wealthier families where they don't have to worry about how we're going to find the money, how we're going to do this, the FAFSA, can we get scholarships and loans, and can we cover this? And wait, it's no question. When they're not worried about that, it's no question their kids are going to college. Even if you get out and be a fucking construction worker, it doesn't matter. You're still going to college first. And you do have outliers. I'm not going to say you don't. You do have outliers that drop out and start a tech company, but that can't be everybody, right? At least going to college, even if your degree has nothing to do with whatever job you're going, you still learn some relatable skills, right? You still went to school more than the high school graduate, the high school dropout went. You still learn something there, and you can still relay that into other things.
is a totally viable alternative to other forms of
Then
fossil
why
fuels.
does the radical left oppose it? You think it's just this see you
For the same reason the right opposes vaccines, because it sounds scary and it's a big thing and they don't trust it. It comes
well,
from
the
big
right has a reason to distrust vaccines in the aftermath of the COVID debacle.
Well,
because they were imposed by force, and that was a very
you get to
bad
choose.
idea.
You have a nuclear power plant. That's imposed by force too. No, you don't get to choose where your energy comes from. If you live in a country, you turn the light switch and hopefully you don't have a Chernobyl that melts down in your particular town, right?
Well, you get to choose it because you can buy it or not.
Well,
That's choice.
Nobody
had a choice with the vaccines.
Nobody had a
bullshit. People had choices with the vaccine, first of all. Second of all, you don't get a choice. You're telling me all power companies are monopolies, right? Enforced monopolies. They're made to be monopolies. There are very few people that have a choice of where to get their power. There are some, but there are very few people because of power lines and shit. They said that it would be too cost prohibitive, right, to have multiple power lines and power plants, blah, blah, blah. And you can't choose to not have power. Who the fuck is living in the United States without power? Nobody. That's like saying, oh, well, you don't need some type of internet or data in today's world. Of course you do. Nobody's sitting around their rotary phone
because you
waiting for a job to call them back.
Buy it or not.
Well,
That's
I mean,
choice.
Nobody
had a choice with the vaccines.
Nobody had a choice whether or not they lived near Chernobyl or not. Nobody's a choice. There's a nuclear power.
Everybody had a choice with the vaccines. Even if your company required it, the choice was to either do their testing protocol and masking protocol or don't fucking work there.
Away.
Well, how realistic is it to
choice.
move like 500 miles? That's like telling conservatives when Biden tried to do the OSHA mandate for vaccines, like, well, you can just get a different job. Nuclear energy is a... Unfortunately, just to be clear, this is the difference between me and you, okay? Is that if everything you're telling me is true...
I'm a female. I'm a female.
You're
so
wanting
that's
to make
obviously,
America great again.
I'm a female. Yeah, I just put it on. I had a cowgirl
That's the
hat
difference
on
that I'm
before.
talking about. I don't
So
care if you're a woman or
I'm a
not.
female and you're a male, and it's almost like you're attacking me because I'm a female.
I'm
Are
not
you
attacking you at all.
anti-female? Are you anti-female?
Half the time I am, okay? What I'm
okay,
saying right
at
now,
least you're
what I'm
honest.
saying,
At
what I'm
least-
saying,
50% of the time.
Well, what I'm saying, yes, I am honest, which is why I'm saying that
Sweetie,
if this happened,
can I ask you another question?
I didn't even answer your first question.
No, you said that you didn't know the specifics. That
Yes,
isn't
but
the answer.
what
So
I'll
I'm not
tell
going
you
to
is
force.
that
I'm not going to force you into a yes or no.
I promise you can't force you to do anything.
Okay, I'm not.
If it happened as you said, I would say that's bad. And you know what? The people involved should be arrested.
You're still yelling, and I agree with you.
I'm not yelling.
I
I'm not even
agree.
close to yelling yet. I can if you want me
Well,
to.
I'm glad you are projecting your voice because I couldn't hear you before.
Okay.
So I can definitely hear you now.
You could do the maybe hair behind your ears. Go ahead.
You want my hair behind my ears?
If it's inhibiting your ability to hear me speak, yes.
Well, actually, it's because you need the bottom of your. I'm in the medical field, so the bottom of your tongue needs to be clipped. So that's the reason why you have a lisp when you're
Destiny's tongue-tied.
talking.
Okay,
Anyway, if you want medical advice, I can do that, but it's better to be private on that.
Just to be clear, this is the difference between me and you, okay?
Let me just give you a few names who have died, basically at hands of illegal criminals. Lincoln Riley, which people know, Christopher Gadd, Travis Wolf.
I wish they'd let that poor girl rest in peace. Like, did she deserve to die? No. No fucking people that get criminally murdered probably deserve to die. There's very few instances where I'd be like, well, you know, fuck around and find out. But the person was charged, arrested, is in fucking prison. What the fuck are we talking about?
Alex Wise. Do you not care about these names?
No, I don't care about these names.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, well, that's...
If we're having a policy discussion? No. Do you want me to start naming off like every black person that gets killed by a
This
police
one-
officer or whatever?
so
You want to
look
do the
at-
BLM tactics? I mean, we can do that, but like,
Look
no, I
at
don't
this
care.
one. A 12-year-old Travis Scott, a baby by 2 years old.
All death, all murder.
You
is
have a son,
tragic,
right?
But what is the?
You have a son, right?
Has nothing to do
So
with
if your son was
religion.
killed at the hands of an illegal immigrant who was a criminal, you would care about this other person.
I would
Anybody killed my kid. What the fuck?
So what do you mean? What's the point? Wouldn't you be there advocating for the southern border to be closed? You would be.
Do you think that my son's a higher chance of being killed in a
You
school
would be.
shooting or by
It
an illegal
debunks
immigrant?
you.
What
It
do you think?
debunks you. So you don't want to answer the question. If your son was killed as a victim at the hands of an illegal criminal, by the way, there is there's a watch list of many people, terrorist groups and organizations that have been coming into our country, and it is very well known. Look, let me tell you. Okay. Let me just give you a few names.
Have you guys seen the Olympic butthole cam? Who decided this was an Olympic angle?
Was it to have a
Look at this.
butthole cam for the
What is this? Whoa! God, you get a little flash of it. It even lifts up off the seat. Hold on, I'm trying to get it.
for the luge?
There it is. Look, I can see all the way through, baby. What the fuck is this? Dude Wipes said we did. That's very funny.
Who did this? Who thought that was a good idea? Whose decision was it to have a butthole cam for the luge? Who did this? Who thought that was...
Why is that a thing?
I am feeling very Olympic today. How about you?
Oh my God, this is fucking Moose Knuckle Central, dude. I figured they'd, seeing that thing, I thought there'd be a handle in the middle for her to grip onto it. Jesus Christ.
I'm feeling very Olympic.
Look at it.
How about you? I am feeling very Olympic today.
Oh, the doubles is so gay, dude. So you know that just recently they made this a female event. Before like, I don't know, 18 years ago or something, they allowed females to compete in the doubles luge. It was a co-sex event since like the fucking 40s. This woman might actually tell you. They could always have a female on top. They chose not to.
There's a part of doubles luge that we're not talking about.
I think this is where I learned this.
Because yes, it's gay. Yes, it's silly. It's the seated rivalry. How did it even start? All of that. But I want to bring up the fact that this technically has been an open event in the Olympics for a while, which means that a man could technically compete with a woman as his partner. But in the entire history of the Olympics, no man has ever chosen to do that.
Why? Like, at any point, this top person or this bottom person could have been a woman. It could have been co-ed. No one, not a single person, has ever competed in any way, shape, or form except for man on man.
Men have always preferred to lie on top of other men. The men have always just wanted to sled with the other men. Like, it's so gay. And they've had that preference since 1964 when this event was first introduced in Austria. The first ever women to compete in doubles luge at the Olympics.
There's a Caleb Francis video I'll show you in a second. Hold on.
Competed today. Because this Olympics 2026 is the first time doubles luge has ever been introduced as an event for women. And obviously women were kept out of this for no explicable reason. It's not like sledding is a particularly manly thing to do. The reason, of course, is that women are not inherently included in sports spaces. Even in 2026, they still have to fight to be a part of them. And congrats to the Italian women who took home the first.
I would say something that has to do with weight, but I don't even think that's true because they don't they make them all weigh roughly the same?
Ever gold in the women's double luge event at their home Olympics just today. So yes, this is silly and funny and gay and even gayer because they only chose to do it with each other, but also it still has the same toxic masculinity that kept women out of sports for a long time. So congratulations to the first ever women's double luge athletes. I love women's sports. There's a part of doubles luge that we're not
Caleb Francis. You've probably seen him before. He's a pretty prominent. He does a skeleton. Content creator. Here you go.
I'm here for the Olympic skeleton tryouts. Hey, yeah, you're at
skeleton is the one where they go down face first, where we were watching that Moose Knuckle talking to us. It was whispering sweet nothings.
I'm here for the Olympic skeleton tryouts. Hey, yeah, you're at the right place. So what are your qualifications? Well, I grew up in Antarctica, so I know my way around the ice, and I've built probably 30 sleds by hand. I don't care about any of that. How fat is your ass? Excuse me? How much jiggle is there when you're sledding? I don't know. I don't think I've ever really paid attention. Does it clap when you walk down the stairs? I mean, like, sometimes if I have short shorts on and I'm going down the steps fast, could you back up a little bit? I need to know if I can see it from the front. What does how fat my cheeks are have to do with my sledding skills? Sledding skills? Do you hear yourself right now? Newborn babies can ride a sled down a hill, okay? It's boring. It's not impressive. We need something to keep their attention, like a fat set of cheeks in tight bodysuit, just bouncing like hell. I mean, I just have like average cheeks. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, you're useless. Next, send in some pogs for God's sake. I'm here for the Olympic skeleton tryouts.
Oh. It says the Swiss commentator has balls of steel while the Israeli bobsled team was racing. He kept reminding viewers of the war crimes that the pilot has openly supported through statements. Absolute fucking legend, but it's all in Swiss, so I don't know. I don't know how true that is. They do have some fat rear ends. Women. They are built, I would say. And they're in the most revealing suit that you could imagine. I would say it's from all these thrusts and shit, right? They've got to get fucking huge from this and fucking squats and that the workout they do to be able to do this launch. Good Lord. Talk about some grippers on that one. There's a hot dog bun in there. Can I see it from the front? Jesus, it's dangerous as fuck, too. I would assume this is probably one of the more dangerous ones, going down head first like that. No protection, no padding, no nothing. I mean, just the helmet. Gonna be a tough motherfucker to do that.
14, very good from Freya Tarbit. That'll accelerate her into 15.
Ooh.
She rolls out of 15.
Ooh. Somebody was going down the other day and they left a fucking broom on the course or dropped a broom in front of her. They hit a fucking push broom.
And the lead has gone.
Can you give us a comment about what happened in the track?
Well, I was going really well, but then got to famous or infamous corner 15 and I just did the wrong time in steers and was super high and then just flipped and was on my side the whole way from 15 to 16. So
She recovered though. I mean,
crashing.
It's obviously not going to get her a medal, but at least she didn't fucking slide all the way down on her face.
At that speed.
Now you're gonna go home. What will you work on?
Let her pinch my nose off. Do one of those tricks where she's like, got your nose. Yeah, hell yeah. Grippers on that motherfucker.
For tomorrow's race.
Just putting it to bed, forgetting it and moving on and being really clear on what
got your nose.
So I'm just going to put it to bed and forget about it and move on to tomorrow and have a good day tomorrow.
Thank you and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Smooth run out of 14, very good.
What is this from Sean Ryan? Do you think more people are coming to kill him?
About Pam Bondi in front of Congress the other day talking about how the Dow's up to 50,000. Nobody gives a fuck. Because what you should be talking about is how you are going to investigate and prosecute any pedophiles that were running around on Epstein Island that you're affiliated with. But we didn't talk about that, did we? Oh
shit, that was my bad. Hold on. My bad.
I've been pretty quiet about the whole system would go down. Affiliated with, but we didn't talk about that, did we? Oh, and what's the excuse? What was the excuse? Oh, if we prosecute everybody, the whole system would go down. Well, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like how Trump ran his campaign. Let's drain the swamp. Doesn't that sound a lot like draining the swamp? It actually is drain the swamp served up to you on a fucking silver platter. But you're not going to take it, are you? You're going to protect pedophiles. You're going to protect pedophiles rather than go after them and hope that everybody's happy that the Dow hit 50,000. Are you fucking out of your mind? I guess the whole drain the swamp campaign promise was another fucking bullshit lie, huh? Man, the lies are stacking up fast. I've never seen so many fucking lies appear in, what, a year? It's only been a fucking year. Look at all the fucking lies. You know, I want to talk to you about something else, too. Then you got Pam Bondi and what's that other guy's name? Todd Blanche, yeah, running around giving Ro Khanna and Massey all this shit because they accidentally put two names that are apparently innocent, out that were in the Epstein files. Well, I got fucking news for you. You have two guys that are in Congress that are actually doing shit, and you give them shit because they made a mistake when they're trying to do the fucking job of the entire Department of Justice, because nobody over there will do their fucking job when it comes to putting pedophiles away in prison. So you give them shit because two people are trying to do the job of the entire Department of Justice. Fuck you. Fuck you. And here's another thing I'm getting tired of is seeing all these fucking politicians, congressmen, senators, fucking talking about all the shit that they saw in the unredacted files. And then you know what they do? They go right to X and they post about it and tell us all how shocked we would be of what's in those fucking files. Guess what, congressmen? Guess what, senators? There's the speech and debate clause that says you cannot be sued for anything you say on the House floor. So here's a tip. Get to fucking work. Permission granted. Oh, and one last thing. One last thing. I saw this shit pop up the other day. Obama goes on some random podcast that nobody's ever heard of and just happens to drop, oh, aliens are real. Yeah, tell me that shit's not fucking orchestrated. Right in the middle of the biggest pedophile ring exposed in the fucking world. All of a sudden, we're gonna drop that aliens are real. Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you. Fucking aliens. Fuck off.
What a weird way to bring up Obama, but okay, if you say so. Nick Fuentes still done with Trump.
Is delusional. Okay? You need to know this. Trump is sick. He is a delusional person. I don't know if it's his age. I don't know if it's his personality. I don't know if it's because he's been in this reality distortion field for so long. But I know firsthand from people that talk to the president, from people that know the president, this guy is delusional. You pick up the phone and talk to the president. You go to a meeting and talk to the president. And I know people that have done this. And it's hours of self-congratulations. Hours of, this is my...
Isn't that all it's ever been? No real sustenance, just him talking about how good it... Either how bad it is and how much he can make it better if he's not president, or how good it is currently. And he did it all.
Most successful administration. We've done more than anybody. The East Wing is going great. We've got the best numbers. It's all the... So this is like the Mad King. This guy is sick. He believes his own press. He is in his own world. Out here, in reality, everybody knows this is a disaster. Everybody knows immigration's a disaster. The economy's a disaster. The foreign policy's a disaster. It's a giant disappointment. This Epstein thing is a catastrophe. He doesn't know that. Now, because of that, and because of his cult-like control over the administration, he is advising his people to run this playbook. So I'm sure that Pam Bondi is huddling with the president, huddling with the White House before this hearing, and they know the questions are coming. And I'm
it's the emperor has no clothes, right?
Sure that Trump is telling his people that this is how they got to play it. I'm sure he's telling them, if you get attacked, if you get questions, you got to talk about our record. You got to go back to how good we're doing. This is Trump and this is Susie Wiles. This is coming from the White House. This is their directive. This is their guidance. And I'm sure little Pam Bondi, this dumb little idiot, is going to the House with her marching orders from Trump and Susie Wiles, and she's going, I'm hitting that playbook. They asked me about the giant cover-up of the sex trafficking island. I'm going to talk about the Dow. They asked me about the victims of grooming and sexual trafficking. I'm going to talk about the NASDAQ and the border. Trump.
What's this next one? MAGA
Who's responsible for the Epstein Files disaster?
Epstein Files just another made-up witch hunt to destroy our president.
The left-wing media
This is AI.
started this mess.
So Trump bears no responsibility?
No, Trump is a man of God.
Who the fuck she's staring at over here? The cadence is very AI-like.
Who is responsible for the Epstein Files?
Sidney Powell, one of the 19 co-defendants in the Trump election case in Fulton County, pleaded guilty. This is just one day before jury selection was set to begin in her trial.
Sidney Powell, one of Donald Trump's former attorneys, has agreed to plead guilty. They're just moments ago there in Georgia. But remember, she is part of the group that was alleged to have participated in this conspiracy to subvert the election, specifically as it relates to overturning the election results. But as part of this deal, the most significant thing, guys, is that she has actually...
This is old. This is like from 2023, right? Like,
obviously,
why is this
devastating news to former president?
Because I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right? Speaking of which, how is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right?
Of course, that's what they ran on.
Because they cheat on elections.
Donald Trump says the Republican Party will eliminate mail-in voting for federal elections in all 50 states with limited exceptions, including disabilities in the military. He also says the USA is the only country in the world. God damn, he's an idiot.
Except Democrat politicians because they cheat on elections. And then you have no mail-in ballots. And it would be no mail-in ballots. Very important. You know, we're the only country in the world that does a system like we do. We're the only country in the world that has mail-in ballots the way we...
No, we're not at all.
Do this is unbelievable. It guarantees cheating. So it's no mail-in ballots with the exception of disability, illness, military, or if you're traveling, you can get an exemption. You know, if you happen to be out of the country for a good reason, you can have an exemption. So with exceptions, it's no mail-in ballots, and that will assure the security of our crooked elections. We have crooked elections, yeah, except Democrat politicians because they cheat on elections. And then you have no mail-in ballots. And
let me show you the real state of the president's health.
We've already seen that one.
So not too long ago, I did a video on how people in Mississippi pay more for a gallon of gas as a percentage of their income than people in the state of Oregon. Well, I think someone over at Finance Buzz caught wind of that because they did a full deep dive on who pays more for gas as a percentage of income.
Not total. Gas in the South is cheap. But if you take it as a percentage of your average income,
states versus blue states. So first we'll start with the 10 states that pay the most amount of money as a percentage of their income for a gallon of gasoline. And it just so happens that nine of the 10 states where people pay the most for a gallon of gas as a percentage of their income are all red states, New Mexico being the only blue state in the mix. If you look at the states that pay the...
I would say it's probably more than... more Democrats than Republicans, especially since Trump told them not to, that's how they cheat. But even if it was even, when less people vote, when less people have access to vote and less people vote, Republicans do better. I think the thing the other day was like 1 in 3 Americans voted by mail.
Least amount of money for gas as a percentage of their income. 9 of the 10 are blue, and the other one is Pennsylvania.
He's mad because there's a couple states that do 100%. They mail out ballots. You can vote in person. You can return the ballot. They verify the ballots or make them provisional. That's what he's mad about.
Can literally go either way. The national average is 2.3% of your income is what the national average is for what people pay as a percentage of their income.
9 out of 10 of the states where you pay the most as a percentage of your income for your gasoline, Republican.
Gas as a percentage of a gallon of gasoline, and it just so happens that 9 of the 10 states where people pay the most for a gallon of gas as a percentage of their income are all red states, New Mexico being the only blue state in the mix. If you look at the states that pay the least amount of money for gas as a percentage of their income, 9 of the 10 are blue, and the other one is Pennsylvania, which can literally go either way. The national average is 2.3% of your income is what the national average is for what people pay as a percentage of their income for gasoline. But in red states,
Trump votes by mail-in ballot.
It's 3%. And in blue states, it's 1.9%. So now you know why those people in those red states love those lower gas prices. Thanks. So not too long ago, I did a video on how people...
It's most of their fucking paycheck goes to their gas
Savannah,
tank.
Georgia, a teacher has lost her life in a car chase involving ice. And we
haven't got details of this yet. But just listen to the way he talks about it.
Some questions around the origin of this car chase. My name is Matt. I talk about news, food, all sorts of stuff. Like and follow to help get my daughter through art school. And she's in the art school of her dreams, and we really appreciate all of your help. The issue at hand here is Dr. Linda Davis, who was a beloved teacher in our community, is no longer with us. And there were initial reports of a horrible car crash involving ice that was blocking both ways on a road. They had to extricate someone from a vehicle, presumably Dr. Davis, who later lost her life. About the origins of the car chase. According to Department of Homeland Security's initial reports, ICE was trying to pull over a man by the name of Oscar Vasquez Lopez. He fled, they gave chase. According to them, he crashed into Linda Davis, ending her life. Now, some questions about the origin of this chase is what I have. According to the most recent things that I could find written about it, American Immigration Council saying that ICE is not supposed to be just pulling people over for traffic violations, nor are they allowed to just pull people over that they suspect for whatever reason may be in violation of immigration law. They would have to already be executing an operation knowingly looking for Oscar Vasquez Lopez. That, I suppose, remains to be seen, and we'll see what comes forward about that. But the county sheriff's department said at the time, immediately, that they were not involved. They found out afterwards, got to the scene later. That's important because sometimes they can have a little legal wiggle room if they partner with a local law enforcement agency, and therefore that agency has the authority to pull people over. And then, so that is something you've seen in other communities. That is not what was happening here. ICE initiated this chase, and a life was lost. So in my mind, and I believe in a lot of people's minds probably, there are a lot of very important legal questions yet to be answered. Oscar Vasquez Lopez was arrested by the county sheriff's department and charged with first-degree vehicular homicide. And again, a teacher loved by her students and the rest of the community has now lost her life. And we will see what develops with this story. I'll be following along, and I appreciate all of you following along. Take care of yourselves. Love you. In Savannah, Georgia,
That's fucked up. An even worse story. Listen to this. ICE staged a broke-down car in a man's neighborhood so that he would stop and try to help the people so they could arrest him. And it's all on video.
Watch this. It's a little hard to see, but it appears to be two individuals, women, who are having
Broke down car, hood up, right? Two women. One's kind of standing by the road. One's standing under the hood. Broke down car.
car trouble, and a stranger who has very kindly decided to stop and help.
Cars come out of nowhere.
Don't go. Hey!
Yeah, those two individuals were federal officers laying a trap for the worst of the worst. You know, the Good Samaritans that stop to help women having car trouble on the side of the road. And this is just another perfect example of something I talked about back when I was in Minnesota. They are eroding our ability to trust one another. And that is by design, mind you. That is one of the most effective methods they can use to drive us all apart, to fracture us as a society, to weaken our social safety nets that we are building with each other, for each other. And it is one of the most disgusting parts of all of this. It's because of these monsters that we need now more than ever to trust one another. And by the way, to the women who are posing as damsels in distress to trap helpful immigrants, who, by the way, I assume your fellow feds pulled up on because of the color of their skin or their accent. You didn't ask them for your immigration status as they pulled out their tools, did you? By the way, quite the gamble. How did you know that it would be an immigrant helping you? How did you know that it would be an immigrant that is fit for targeting by ICE, that would be the one to stop and take time out of their day to help you when you were in trouble? How did you know? To those women, thank you for making it even more dangerous for the rest of us to need help on the side of the road. Because you are making it so the safe people, the trustworthy people, are more afraid to stop and help. That is on you. To weaponize our vulnerabilities against other people's vulnerabilities is the most disgusting thing that I see coming from us. I am embarrassed and mortified that you can just so easily and happily do that. There are few people more disgusting, worst of the worst, right? I'll tell you what, I would feel 1,000 times safer every day of the week if I was stranded on the side of the road and the person who pulled over and got out to help me was an immigrant over a Republican every single time. You people are a menace. Watch this. It's a little hard to...
I got some pretty good news the other, well, it depends on how you look at it. I owe less in taxes this year, much less than I owed 2 years ago, less than I owed last year, but I also made less than I've ever fucking made in my life, I think. Mostly because I got my disability, right? That doesn't count towards taxable income. And then the only work I've really been doing is this, which we lost most of our audience for the Trump stuff. And then that government grant program, but that didn't start until like, I don't know, the end of summer. Damn, I didn't fucking do. I worked all fucking year, but actual paid work. So I've made less than ever. But I'm paying less in taxes than I have in the last couple of years because I don't. So I make money from this. I always owe money on this because I don't pay quarterly. Instead, I just let it run, and then I see what my tax bill is. Usually, I have a job that offsets, even if I make a lot on the stream. My job, I pay too much in, like my regular W-4 job, I guess. I always pay too much in, and that kind of helps offset it. I think 2 years ago, I owed like $2,700. Last year, I changed it up a little bit and paid more in. Last year, I owed like I want to say 800, and this year I owe less than 500. So there you go. That's good news, I guess. It did tell me that I have 2 kids that are potentially eligible for the Trump savings plan. No money put in it, but they can get it, and then I can put a shit ton of money in it if I want. And also, I got an extra $100 per kid for the child tax credit. So boom, There's that. I told Mariah this would be the greatest year for Liam to fill out the FAFSA if he was a senior this year, where it looks like we didn't make hardly any fucking money. Oh, that's what we need. I have picked up viewers that are on the other side. It's just, it hasn't caught up yet. I had this huge viewership that came that were all Trump supporters, but they also didn't like the Q-tards, the QAnon people. And then finally I was done with Trump and they all made giant speeches, then fucking left. And I have picked up viewers from other, actually Jennifer, Gen X does a really good job of sharing my shit elsewhere and hopefully drawing people in. And it's been working lately. So that's good. Yeah, not bad. I want to see what else has she covered. I like this Brenna's channel. But yeah, I don't owe as much this year.
The wildest part about tech companies trying to convince us that ID...
I do like that my VA disability is not taxed, right? So that's like an income that I've got. I'm permanent total. It's coming in now. I've got it set up. I finally got it fixed. I should have been able. It should have started or have been at 100%. This is what the thing told me, that there was a mistake in my paperwork from... Sorry, I'm trying to add. $2021. I didn't get that back pay. I think they back pay me like fucking 6 months or some shit.
Facial scans are about age verification and safety, is that the adult spaces of the internet isn't where predators are finding minors. They're finding them in the age-appropriate areas of the internet, you know, like Roblox, or in the case of Discord, which just got into some hot water this week, and other platforms like Discord in the non-age-restricted areas. In case you missed it, Discord announced this week that it was going to do what a bunch of tech companies are itching to, which is basically require its users to scan their IDs and faces in order to verify their age. They've since kind of backtracked and said, well, no. The vast majority of users won't have to do either of those things because the vast majority of users do not access age-restricted Discords and forums. This is just for the people that do. Okay, so I want to know why. Why? How does that keep younger users safe? The targeting tends to happen in their spaces. Right. The ones that are still open and don't require age verification. Sure, some of the more problematic stuff probably doesn't happen on those more open servers. It can happen more in private DMs, etc. But that's after the initial meeting. So are companies like Discord going to require age verification for private DMs and messages? Like, you see how this doesn't solve the problem that they're claiming they're trying to solve? They're just selling us this idea that this is a solution to that problem instead of what it actually is, which is just an excuse to collect even more data. And of course, put it at insane risk of data leaks. Between this and the Section 230 thing and the Ring, dog finding dragnet, we're being sold so many lies, so many invitations to give up even more of one of the most valuable parts of ourselves, our data, second only to our labor, all under the guise of it being a solution to what the people on top clearly don't care about. Come on, just don't fall for it. The wildest part about tech companies trying to convince us that ID and they shut down the airspace because the Pentagon wanted to put people's lives at risk and the FAA said no.
Could you imagine if they'd hit a commercial flight with the fucking laser they were shooting at balloons?
Shut down the airspace around El Paso and parts of New Mexico.
This even caused like med flights to be fucking shut down, right? To like airlifting people.
Because people at the Pentagon, no doubt Pete Hegseth, wanted to put people's lives at risk in order to test a new toy, and the FAA had to step in and say no. At least that's what multiple...
Yeah, veteran shit is pretty crazy. I tried, and it was all because of a mistake in my paperwork. From years ago. But
anonymous whistleblowers are now sharing. In case you missed it, last night, in the middle of the night for most of us, the FAA shut down the airspace around El Paso and parts of New Mexico without warning for 10 days originally, though it was lifted in the morning. They cited security concerns, and there were seemingly zero exceptions to this. And of course, people were confused and concerned. Doubly so because a lot of officials, including locals who should have been briefed on what was going on, clearly weren't, including, I'm told, higher ups at the FAA who didn't know what was happening. The Pentagon claimed that this was all in response to cartel drone activity in the area, which immediately people pointed out was suspect, because drone activity in the area isn't rare. But it turns out there might be a kernel of truth to this. Not that the issue was the drone incursion itself, but rather the way that the military and the Pentagon were choosing to handle it, using an untested technology that they had yet to coordinate with the FAA on. See, reportedly, they have a new toy that they've been developing, using lasers that would intercept and take down drones. But it sounds like they haven't actually tested this in any sort of airspace that could put people at risk. And the FAA hasn't been allowed to perform a safety assessment to determine what sorts of risks this technology could pose to other aircraft. We're talking commercial aircraft, passenger planes. In fact, reportedly, military officials rolled out this shiny new toy earlier this week and used the technology to down what they thought was a cartel drone, which turned out to be a birthday balloon. Now imagine they did that in commercial airspace. I know some people are going to say, well, confusing a balloon for a drone is different than confusing a commercial airliner for a drone. Okay, you want to trust the same people that are refusing to work with the FAA on keeping people safe to keep people safe? Those are the detail-oriented individuals at the helm that you feel absolutely certain would never make a decision that would put other people's lives at risk. After all, they did manage to identify and neutralize the extreme threat that was the birthday balloon. Mind you, the risks to other aircraft don't just begin and end at their misidentification. Lasers are dangerous around aircraft. Just ask anyone, including 8-year-olds who are taught not to shine lasers up at aircraft. And all this when they reportedly had a meeting scheduled for later this month with the FAA to discuss some of these safety concerns. Our country is being run by a band of impatient frat brothers. Those are the people that you put in charge of some of the most dangerous technology in the world. They shut down the airspace because the Pentagon wanted to put people's lives.
They are pretty inept.
Something weird's going on. A few hours ago, so in the middle of the night for most of us, the FAA announced it was shut.
That's the same one.
230 Sunset Act. If you don't know and you're watching, Section 230, what it does is basically says that a platform on the internet can't be held liable for the content that it hosts, which I realize sounds sort of technical and boring. So why did I come out here to Washington, D.C. to support this? Well, first and foremost, it's because I'm a dad, as the senator said. I'm a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And a lot of people here today are parents whose kids, I just heard a couple stories that left me trying to keep myself together. These photos remind me of my kids. And the harm that was done to these kids online might have been prevented if certain big tech companies knew that they could be sued. But under Section 230, they cannot be.
This is a terrible idea. I hope that by now we are all on the same page, that when they trot out a handsome celebrity and cry about saving the children, we all know that alarm bells should be going off, right? Yes, there are bad things to the internet. Yes, there are bad things to big tech. But repealing or sunsetting Section 230 isn't going to fix that. Let me explain why. So as our handsome celebrity explained, well, barely, what Section 230 does is shield tech companies from civil liability. Basically, it means that they cannot be sued for the content that users generate on their platform. That's another red flag, by the way. The fact that he just kind of brushes over what it actually means and then dives right into the emotional storytelling. Because what Section 230 doesn't protect tech companies from is criminal liability, especially not federal criminal liability. And in fact, there are specific carve-outs in Section 230 for things like IP and trafficking. And if the solution they were proposing was to add more carve-outs to 230 or make certain adjustments to it, that might be a solution. However, the last carve-out they added actually didn't go the way they'd hoped, but simply repealing 230 would be catastrophic, and in fact wouldn't actually stop the things that they're claiming they want to stop in the first place. Right. Because right now, Section 230 doesn't just make sure that tech companies aren't held civilly liable for what users generate on their platforms, and this applies to all types of content, by the way, not just videos and photos, but comments, reviews, articles, anything written, any recommendations of other websites, etc. Part of the way it does that is by saying that if a website or tech company attempts to moderate the content on its platform, it cannot be held liable the way a publisher might, that chooses to publish a certain article versus not, etc. In other words, the fact that they moderate one thing or provide tools to moderate doesn't mean that they're liable for not moderating another thing. So ironically, Section 230 would result in the loss of things like parental
tools, because companies that give you the tools to filter out certain types of content would suddenly be made liable for any and all content that you might access using their service. Repealing Section 230 would likely result in one of two major things. Number one, websites and internet service providers would actually cease to moderate and remove access to tools allowing any sort of moderation or filtration, even of the most...
They just had to be completely hands off.
Basic kind, like a forum for a specific hobby, limiting the topic to that hobby. Yes, including parental controls, which would also...
Yeah, kiss off is fine.
So likely result in a bunch of sites and apps allowing an absolute free-for-all of all types of dangerous and hateful content, because their choice to moderate any of it would again open them up to that same liability. So not only not stopping that sort of content, but actually in many cases making it far more rampant and accessible. Or option two, it will result in providers clamping all the way down. Not based, mind you, on
all the way down
legal liability, which sounds like it might be the same thing, but isn't. In other words, it would be based on what is most likely to get them sued. Yeah, so there would be several major effects of that. Firstly, a lot of sites wouldn't be able to allow user-generated content at all because they wouldn't be able to afford the type of moderation that would require. For many, many services, this would become far too cumbersome and expensive, and they would just have to shut it down entirely. Further concentrating user-generated content and communities and discourse into the hands of the entities that could actually afford that level of extreme moderation and who wouldn't be as afraid of being sued. It would result in the filtering of subjects that aren't exactly harmful but pose risk to the platform or platform's owners. So if there's an individual or company with a lot of extra resources that doesn't exactly want people to say negative things about them on the internet, well, a service provider might err on the side of not upsetting the people with the deep pockets. Now, this could apply to billionaires that don't exactly want people talking about all the bad things they're up to, as well as corporations that maybe just don't like negative reviews for their products or movies. Meanwhile, without Section 230, if someone else is defaming you online, well, you better hope that your pockets are deep enough for you to pose an actual inconvenience to the providers. Otherwise, they could be sued by the person with the deeper pockets who wants to say whatever they want to say on the platform. This is literally what Trump tried to do when he sued Twitter and Jack Dorsey for banning him. He asked the judge to rule that Section 230 was unconstitutional. That's the kind of person that doesn't like Section 230. Oh, and if that's not bad enough, conservatives and the Heritage Foundation are super big fans of repealing or narrowing Section 230. It's all over Project 2025. Essentially, repealing or sundowning Section 230.
They either have to be, if we take away 230, they have to be responsible for everything that's posted on the site as far as slander, misinformation, this, that, and the other, right? Responsible for everything or responsible for nothing. One of the two.
Result in every space on the internet that has any sort of user-generated content being an absolute free-for-all with zero moderation, zero rules, zero content filtering for anything harmful, hateful, inappropriate, or even just off-topic. Or a space that is so heavily...
I don't like 230, but I don't think there's a better option. The reason I don't like 230 is when they went like, YouTube's just started kicking people off for political reasons, right?
Moderated so as to ensure that absolutely zero generated content, comments, etc. could upset anyone that might have the resources or propensity to sue. And it'll boil down to giving the money even more control over our ability to communicate with each other on the internet. Don't fall for it.
I'm here to talk about Section 230 Sunset Act. If you don't know and you're watching, Section 230, what it does is basically says that a platform on the internet can't be held.
All right, guys. I think that's it for me tonight. I just kind of threw together a show. I wasn't planning on doing one. I thought, I feel all right. Anyways, shitty day, but thanks for making it a little bit better. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you want to support the show, you can do that at Just Quick Tools link here. You can do it while we're offline. Leave a message. I'll thank you when I come back. Thank you. The donations come in while they're offline. Thanks for, wish me a happy birthday and all that stuff. I'll be back tomorrow with a regular show. We'll hang out from there. Either way, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Listen to me bitch for a little bit. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night. Holler at me on Discord. We'll see you about the next one. Talk to you later. Oh, shit. That's an email. Talk to you later. See you guys later.
But I can tell you this about it.
You got me, Sousa.
Particular show.
Fucking loser.
The fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly. And tell the rest of the world you don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit.
Rumble Souza got me good.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen.
She's probably been trying the whole show to figure out how to type in the live chat.
I came equipped with a quick wit and a sixth sense for the stupid shit.
Boomer's gonna boomer.
Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord.
Bert's a godly man. I sent him my 401k.
Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders. They ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts, cause
Good night, guys. Have a good night.